All right, we will call the meeting to order. Dana and Robert are absent. Pledge of Allegiance, Item 2, flag goes at the front. Please join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Item 3, mission statement. Viroqua area schools will nurture excellence, unlock potential, and ignite passion. Item 4, we have our spotlight on education tonight, esports. We have Gidget and Danny here to tell us about esports.
Awesome. We also have Mike joining us virtually.
Good evening.
Welcome.
We really just wanted to come to you and let you know we've been doing esports here for the last 3 years, 5 seasons that we've completed.
A little closer to Sarah and you'll be,
Sorry.
there you go.
There we go, now we're in here.
There you go, then you're on.
This is our 3rd year, but we're probably going to be doing season 6, maybe 7 and 8. We try to do 2 to 3 seasons per year. And in esports, we really try to hit the kiddos that aren't being served by other sports. If you might have remembered the last time we came, I think we came 2 years ago to talk to you about esports. It's changed a lot, just like technology. So previously, it was a set of educators and technology people who were all like-minded and volunteered a lot of their time. And we all know how that goes. Burnout, other jobs, life, things aren't getting met and done in a timely manner. And as esports continues to grow throughout the nation, we found that our kiddos need more. And one of those things is that the association that Mike was great at setting up has needed to expand so that the structure in terms of providing the games was more secure and more accessible. But it also needed to change on our part because, again, the world is changing. We need sponsors. We need people in our community to know that we're doing this. And that doesn't happen without expanding what we're doing. And we're still with the same organization, but it's changed a little bit. Mike, you want to go from there?
Happy to. So thank you for letting me virtually join. I would have loved to have come up. I definitely love the driftless area and trout fishing. So next time you need me in person, please let me know and I'm happy to drive up. So I've been doing this for 10 years now. I've been a business education teacher for 8 years. I worked in private as a LMS administrator and e-learning developer for original equipment manufacturers for 2 years. And then I've actually been the CTE coordinator and youth apprenticeship coordinator for the Elkhorn School District for the last 2 years. With that kind of being said, this last year was actually the first time to where I asked to step down from leading this organization so that I could focus on my job. This has been a huge passion project. We've grown from 7 schools competing to serving nearly 200 different unique districts and entities throughout the year. And it's gotten to the point to where I had to pick essentially, and I wanted somebody to step up and take over for me, but nobody wanted to take over the reins. So I said, then this has to find a way to become a full-time position so I can give this the details that it needs. And so with that transition, I understand what that means for school districts, but given my background, I really wanted to start to transition to beyond the competition of games. I think competition is great for kids, learning the responsibility, the time management, the accountability, what it takes to actually be a team in this type of environment and not being isolated at home playing remote, but actually giving them a space to play together is extremely vital. But now I want to take some of that CTE kind of collective and expand upon that. I've been working with various CTSOs. I have a meeting again with Skills USA this week to see how we can align projects with Skills USA. FBLA just announced their prompts for this upcoming year, so I'm waiting to hear back from them as to how we can partner together. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and their awards that they offer in February at Lambeau Field. So we have a lot of different CTE connected projects that we're working on with esports. I'm sure you have students that are running your broadcast for your traditional sports, and esports can mirror the exact same thing. So I typically have been following the DPI outline for career-based learning experiences and trying to mirror what next steps that we can use esports for in the state, so that aligns with some of those cables and wobbles as they're called. So we're adding more and more, not just competition, but we have now had dedicated time to work with the developers. I was able to send out, after 18 months of being in an NDA, we've partnered with the Nintendo of America. So us as a national organization has been able to partner with them to where we can provide our school districts with free online subscriptions, downloadable versions of the game, and we actually have access to the Nintendo distributors for the Nintendo Switches. That doesn't mean that's just then you getting them at MSRP. There's no markup from another vendor or anything like that. That's direct access from Nintendo. So that's been something that we've been working on a lot for the last 18 months. But all of this is just really just trying to get more experience for our students, and creating more opportunities for them. My driving force behind this is what would 14-year-old Mike would have liked. And if I can say that 14-year-old Mike would have thought this was cool, then that's how I try to drive the direction. I might have been a little bit better of a student. I probably wouldn't have been in as much trouble as I was, because I was typically the bored student at school that needed some sort of attention, and it usually wasn't positive. So I use this as how could I have benefited, and that's what drives me moving forward. So as I've transitioned into this role, my goal is to try to meet with every single school district across the state to talk about what we need to do in order to keep moving forward, what you would like to see as a community. How can we help Viroqua and the students of Viroqua in order to legitimize this, to create more opportunities for them, provide more resources, whatever it may be. That is what I'm here for. So I guess that's me just throwing a lot at you. So if you want a few seconds to decompress, absorb, and ask questions, I'm happy to do that. I'm sorry.
The structure does change, as you can see, but we get a lot more added value. So as we look at the price increase for us starting, but it is going to be a price increase. There's no way around it. But I think the kids that we serve, which are not your traditional kids, they need to stay in school. They need the attendance. They need the accountability, that they need good grades. And more than anything, they need to establish a healthy practice. It's great to play a video game. It is. But it's really great if you play a video game from 3 to 5 in the afternoon, not 3 to 5 in the morning. We want them to come to school. We want them to socialize in our buildings. We want them to get to know other kids that are gamers, so they have friends, that they're not just sitting at home, so that they can game with those same kids online safely. But there are more things. We also have, we're reaching out to many different kids as part of this. A lot of our students, they are in multiple sports. They're in multiple programs. And so we really get to see a wide variety of students. And additionally, the biggest thing for us, having the ability to have live stream our events is going to be huge. That's been a struggle for us in the past, especially. So being able to have that extra support in that, I think, is going to be very valuable, not just for our community, but the parents as well. We open up our library for parents who do want to watch, but they may not be able to make it all the time. And it also helps the kids also see that live stream and be like, hey, I'm doing this. It's right here. You can see, I'll give you the link. This is the game we played. And so
They can be proud of themselves. That's huge.
So we're hoping that by increasing this, by going a new direction, same organization, just a new way of bringing it to our kids, that it will be sustainable and expandable, because we see a lot of attention in the middle school, and we have a little bit in the high school, but we share with a lot of other sports, and we want to share with those sports. We are not asking for those kids. We are taking those kids when football is done. We'll take you. When you don't have a sport in this season, we'll take you. But if you're out for a team sport, team sports are important too. Do that. Get that socialization as well. So we really are trying to just expand for our kids. So just know, as it looks different in the future and we ask for that additional funding, that it isn't going to waste. It's really going to help us in decreasing our workload, giving us assistance and sponsorship. I really hope Mike reaches out to Vernoncom, because I think they'd be a great sponsor for us. And I think that as we have some of our kids that are actually going to college and playing esports in TC and at college, we get them into the system so they know what that looks like. And it's not just going from gaming at home at 2 a.m. to, oh, I'm on a team in college? What does that mean? We need to give them the stepping stones to be successful. So. Thank you.
How big is the geography? I'm assuming it doesn't follow the same traditional conference type thing. It's
We
with the
play the
association that, is it just Wisconsin or is it?
Currently,
Yeah, so we have, we follow the same type of enrollment size to do our divisions by. So we don't have 100% participation with all districts. So typically if a school is above 900 students, they're in Division 1. Division 3 or 4 is typically like 400 and less. A bulk of the Wisconsin schools kind of fall between that 900 and 450 type of range. So that could be your Division 2 and 3. Our JV system does allow middle school students to participate on those teams as well. And we even have some titles that have enough popularity that they can support their own middle school system. So like Smash, Mario Kart, and Rocket League, they have enough interest from middle schools around the state to where we've actually been able to have their own division that they play, so they don't have to play high school age students. I have been in a couple of conversations with athletic conferences to where they asked if we can set up their own athletic conference competition, to where then you're playing those traditional rivals that you typically would anyways. When I set up the schedule, I typically tinker a little bit, and I try to make sure close geographic teams are in the same conference so you can build upon those existing rivalries. I know when we competed in a national league, my kids did not care if we beat South Central Tech Louisiana High School, but when Elkhorn plays Delavan Darien, it's a much bigger deal and the kids care a lot more. So and so I think that's important too for our community, that if we can have you play somebody that you've already built an established rivalry with, it means more to your community when you win too.
I'm sure that it fluctuates throughout the school year, but how many students do you serve or include? Or
if we would allow all of the middle school, which in this building goes 5, 6, 7, and 8, we would have 40 plus.
okay,
We limit it usually to grades 7 and 8 just because 20 is more than enough.
okay.
Because those kiddos don't remember their passwords. They don't even have the appropriate licensure for them to be 13 and above for some of these games. And we really try to make sure that they're safe. And we want them to play good games. Our personal preference is mostly Nintendo, but we do have things like Rocket League, which is not too bad, and Valorant, and some of the other ones that are a little bit more for the older kids. But we do try to limit based on age. And again, if we opened it up, we'd have a lot more, but we try to limit it so that we're a little bit sane. Yeah, it's a little crazy. Thank you. Any other questions, thoughts? You're always welcome for games. I think games are still going to be on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yep, and we'll have some community games on Mondays too. So if there's more competition, if there's more kids that want to play, we have more opportunities. So
I'm sorry.
No, you're
This
okay.
This is Angie Lawrence, and I'm virtual today. I apologize for that. But I am, and I've been involved with Western Technical College in the start of the competitive esports there. And I'm very supportive of this because anything we can do to involve children or young people in whatever their interests are is amazing. But a question that I have is there have been some issues with people that are actually not in school trying to participate, and these are adults that are perhaps adults that we don't want our children playing esports with. And then those people are trying to get a hold of these students after school competitions. How do you prevent people from engaging with these students through the esport program that you're offering?
So our platform that we use for FenWorks, no outside individual can get access to that student data in order to make direct contact with them. Now, for some games, there's no way to prevent if they're playing online at home to have that direct contact because you play with everybody from around the world. But games like Nintendo titles, so like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, and titles of that nature don't have a lot of in-game communication to where you can talk to each other. So Nintendo is very secure on that. I think giving students the digital citizenship awareness of what is appropriate interaction is also important. But when you're competing as part of your team, having the adult in the room, that is why we require students to play at school under adult supervision in case any of those situations arise. And I think that's the number one thing is to make sure that we have trusted adults in the room and that also educating our parents to what our student is doing online as well.
So
And
there's
we-
definitely an educational component then. And once again, I apologize for being virtual because I can't see everybody that well. And if I'm interrupting, I'm sorry. But I'm hoping that there's a real in-depth education for these students because there have been all kinds of situations, even when they go to college and playing with someone that is actually trying to do harm. And so I'm just hopeful that that's a big piece of it as well.
One of the things that we do is we do put out a parent permission slip so parents are aware of the game that they're playing, the times that we will be meeting. The library itself is one of those places in the building which does have camera access at all times, which is always helpful. But more than anything, we want to teach them that healthy practice again. That's part of it. It's, so they're playing and they don't rage quit. They're learning to work through some of those emotions, and some of them are dealing with other people, and maybe people, like you said, Angie, that are more preying on them. But for the most part, we encourage them to share each other's friend codes. That's part of the Nintendo thing, is you have to know the friend code, almost like their phone number, to talk to somebody else. And we really encourage kids to play with kids in their own area, in their own thing. And that's one of the reasons why we've stuck to Nintendo. And those other games, we do try to only make them for high school, just because we want to have some clarity. Yeah, and they can move up to that, but this is what we play at this age. And if you want that later, that's fine. But again, it's parent permission too.
Thank you.
Any other questions for us? Well, hopefully you will come in some Tuesday or Thursday. We play until 5, so.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you.
very much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, item 5, committee reports, budget and finance. Matt, Chris.
Well, I'm going
and
to take
Tim.
over from Matt because I started that meeting, and actually Chris will do most of the explanation, but we were reviewed, and it's on the agenda. We reviewed the some budget changes for this year, next year's tentative budget, which of course is tentative till we have enrollment and finalize assessed values and all those things. And then Chris will go through that more at the meeting, and I don't know if there's anything he wants to add now.
I guess I don't, That's the kind of the high level piece of it. There weren't, from a budget change perspective, there really wasn't much of there's no dollar amount change. We're just shifting one expense from one place to another. The trust situation that was overfunded into some capital project funds. That's going to be the last of the adjustments to the budget for last year. Preliminary budget for next year is right now, until we get final numbers, it's obviously preliminary, but it is looking to be balanced. And we're looking at this year coming in close to balanced as well. Yeah.
Any questions? Comments? All right. Item 6, welcome visitors. Is there no public comment? Okay. Item 7, consent agenda. Item A, approval of agenda. Item B, proof of public notice. Item C, July meeting minutes. Item D, check summary 1 in the amount of $457,091.16. Item E, retirements and resignations. We have none. Item F, appointments. Rick Maker, bus driver.
I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 8, the action items. We have item A, check summary 2. These are expenses related to health insurance.
Move to approve the check summary 2 in the amount of $270,453.68.
Second that. All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I abstain.
Angie? Item B, 2024-25 budget adjustments.
I move to approve the 24-25 budget adjustments.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. And item C, 2025-26 preliminary budget.
I move to approve the 25-26 preliminary budget.
I'll second it. Discussion? All in favor, vote by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to item 9 for information discussion. We have donations over $100. So we want to thank people for these generous donations, and the total amount is $6,083.05. So we have from the Booster Club, $2,800 for high school boys baseball uniforms. From the Booster Club, we have $872 for high school football supplies. Viroqua Lions Club, $200 for high school honors program. Vernon Communications, $100 for high school girls basketball. And the following donations I will read are for girls basketball Lady Hawks Golf fundraiser. And that's Eric and Susan Rukoff, $100. Jason Courtney and Sons, $100. Viroqua Dental Center, $500. Citizens First Bank, $100. Countertops by Design, $1,000. Westby Co-op Credit Union, $100. And Royal Bank, $100. And then Friends of Bigley Pool donated $111.05 to the Bigley Pool. So we thank them all for those donations to our district. All right, item B, District Administrator Report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So we will start with new professional staff orientation tomorrow. They will have orientation on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. And they will be meeting with principals and different district staff members over those 3 days. I think that do we do lunch with these guys this week? as well, or next week?
Wednesday today,
Wednesday
let me know by the after the meeting.
with board members. And then next week, we will move into our regular, all of our staff in services. So I will welcome them back on Monday. We'll do a breakfast over at the elementary school. And then on Tuesday, we will be at Westby in the morning, and we'll be back here in the afternoon. And then Wednesday, we will have a little bit later start because of our back to school event in the evening. So that will be for all staff. And then just to let the board know, I am working with WASDA, and Barb Schrammick is the mentor that was assigned to me by WASDA. So she and I will be working together all year to make sure that I'm not dropping any balls and that I'm paying attention to all of the things that WASDA needs me to be paying attention to so that I better serve you and the students and staff of Viroqua area schools. Some other things too, just to let you all know, we have been included in an article from David Harper with Rural Health. And it's an article looking at the transformation of our early learning center. They studied several communities nationwide that had shuttered healthcare facilities that were then converted to other things. And so there's the preliminary stages of that article were shared with me. And once that is published, I will share that with all of you. And then just some other staffing pieces that happened post us listing the agenda, that we have a custodial resignation. Andrew Toomey Dejowitz resigned and was replaced by Ron Stout. So that will be coming to you guys as well. That's all I have.
Any questions? All right, we'll move on to administrator reports. We have back to school update. Steve.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, you Hawks rock. Right? I start with celebrations every single time in my reports. And at this time of year, we're fortunate this year, actually, we don't have a lot of turnover in middle school. We had one resignation at the end of last year, and Haley Bray has stepped in and already is doing a tremendous job as our middle school counselor. And has been in the last week and has learned a lot about Skyward and sources of strength, and you're hitting the ground running with that. But also a huge Hawks rock to Jeremy and Leanne as well. This is a huge undertaking, right? Those district positions, and it's already become very obvious that they're not just incredible for their roles, but they're incredible human beings as well. And so we're looking forward to continue to work with that. Yes. I'm not going to bore you with repeating the information about the new professional and back to school in services, but that's going to be starting this week and continuing next week. We do have back to school night next week, and all families that attend the middle school are invited to come to that. It's from 5 to 7 p.m. Additionally, on that night is our school photos. So we will have a retake day, during the school year. But that's really the first opportunity for us to get photos taken. So just some extra incentive to be coming to that back to school night. And really it's just an opportunity to meet teachers, get an idea of what the incredible experiences are going to be to come for the school year. So really excited to see a lot of families come up. Some additional things. So this last week was the first edition of the Flock Forward that got sent out. So that's going to be something that I'm trying to do this year to do a better job of telling our story. Right? So it's a newsletter that I'm hoping to include lots of pictures and stories, news, updates of things that are happening in the school. Some of those awesome things that we honestly don't do a good enough job of sharing out, right? So that's kind of in alignment with a lot of the conversations that I know we've had in like the board workshops and like the business linkages and stuff like that, of making sure that others in the community are aware of what's going on. So that was the first edition, hopefully of many. This is not going to be necessarily a replacement of, but in conjunction with the return of the Principal Hawkcast. So we do a wee video again, which I'm super excited about. There are always other video editing programs, but my capacity to be able to learn them and do all the things to edit those videos, I'm quite particular, and so a large part of the reason why it's so time consuming is maybe just me not letting things be less than what I'm comfortable with that level of quality. But I'm super excited to be returning back to the Principal Hawkcast as well when I have the capacity to do so throughout the year. And then kind of in between these newsletters, are meant to be kind of giving more of those glimpses of the awesome things that are happening in our school. Additionally, this summer, as we're preparing for back to school, our middle school co-lab has met now 4 times throughout the summer and has done a lot of work doing a few different things. And this is the 3rd year that we've done these summer sessions. So we do some leadership development, because leadership is not just a position, right? It is everybody in the building has different roles and capacities to serve in that in the leadership forum, and they take that quite seriously. And so we do some leadership development. We also do some reflecting back on our goals from last year and the data to show the progress that we made on them and learn from those endeavors, and then use those lessons to kind of forecast for this upcoming school year. And so in your back to school report, there's also a link to one of the artifacts from that work, which is our middle school scorecard, right? So you'll hopefully, when you click on that, you'll see some familiar look to that. It is right based off of our strategic plan, right based off of our board goals that have been stated in those workshops. And then it's how are we going to be measuring that progress throughout the year, and what strategic actions are we going to be taking to make those goals a reality. So that's a huge credit to the middle school co-lab members and the work that they've been doing this summer as well. And that's the back to school report.
Thanks. Any questions? Steve? We'll move on to Pat.
Always good to follow Steve because he covers everything very thoroughly. And then I can just say, yeah, we're going to do a lot of the same stuff. Yeah, new staff the next few days, and then all staff next week. As part of professional staff have to put in 2 flex days, which at the elementary building is not a problem to put in 2 days, getting things ready. But things seem very normal this year, which is awesome. You know, when I look at the 5 years I've been here, there's been coming out of COVID and flooring projects, and then the flooring projects take longer, and construction. We got new windows, that's about it, which is awesome. They're awesome windows, but it's pretty calm, which is cool that we can just start school like normal. Teachers also looking back, kids looking back, and what we do. Yeah, same, we've got back to school night next week, and student pictures and staff pictures. It's nice to do that before school starts, and there are takes to do that during the school year. And similarly, we ended last year with some big rocks or big priorities for this upcoming year, and we'll revisit that when staff are back. Mostly looking at how we improve our systems, whether that's attendance, behavior, academics, and in many instances go from what needs improvement or go from what's good to great, or if it's great, let's be greater or greatest. Yeah, it's an exciting time of year. The summer's gone in a blink of the eye, but my mindset is to try to be like, this is the job that we dreamed of. This is the one we wanted to be at, so this is what we do. So it's always exciting to get the staff and kids back and get rolling. I could jump into Jumpstart if you want.
Yeah.
Which is the next 3 mornings. Our incoming 4K students have the option to come in, which is really nice without the rest of the building. When there's 350 kids-ish, it's a lot for the 4Kers. So they spend the morning, get used to where everything is in the building, get to ride a bus, which is always exciting. Just get to see the school, which is pretty cool. And we have really good turnout, especially in elementary 4K, and it's probably 3/4 of the kids are there. And VAM's probably half, which is awesome too. It's exciting.
Sounds very sweet. And Steve, I assume you covered all of your fall activities. There's a bullet point here. Anything
I think
else?
the only other things I mentioned that I'm realizing that I didn't put in the back to school report. None of these activities, it's going to be a little bit of a forced transition here, but none of these activities and things that we're planning on doing this year happen without the hard work of those individuals that are here throughout the summer, right? Those other individuals of Cody's team, the custodial staff. And you notice, like you walk down the hallway and there are some sections that are wax right now, some sections that aren't, and how much better our building looks because of all the work that they put in. So there's a huge amount of celebration appreciation there as well as the technology crew. And Gidget's already left here, but a huge shout out to that team getting all the technology ready, because it is a mad dash when staff come back in the building to make sure that they have everything that they need in order to have that classroom up and running on day one. And that's not without a whole bunch of work that they do as well. With regards to the activities that are made more possible because of that, there's not much that's started yet for the middle school, but we're super excited to be offering cross country again. Football is school affiliated, right? Roughly, we're super excited to be offering that as well as volleyball. And then we've got a number of other activities and events that happen throughout the school year that obviously start at the beginning of the school year too. Anyway, I'll pause there.
Para training, yeah.
I don't have a whole lot to say because our para training is this Thursday. So it will be my very first year in Viroqua. Very excited to get to meet everyone. There will be some teachers coming in using that as one of their flex days so that they can have some time with their team as well. So I'm just looking forward to having some noise in the building.
Let's see, Cody, summer projects, facilities update.
Yeah, as far as big projects, other than the cleaning of the buildings, which is a very big project, and kind of learning the new buildings, adding square footage, we've kind of had a little bit of a benchmark as to where we need to be at a certain time, while adding square footage in the tech ed and some of these different areas. We've been learning on the go, and quite honestly, catching up from some of the areas that we haven't been able to get to with summer school being over here for a few years in a row now. It's back over in the elementary where it belongs. We're happy about that. But yeah, my guys are working hard to get everything up in shape for staff coming back. And like Steve said, you just know it when you walk in the building. It looks clean, smells clean. They work hard. They put in the time. As far as our biggest project is nothing compared to the referendum we just went through, but the windows on the west side of the elementary school, I would say, are about 60% done. We were pushed back a week from when we originally planned to do it, but they also threw another crew on it. We decided as a group today that it would not be smart to put windows in with the rain. But yeah, I anticipate them pretty much being wrapped up by the end of this week, with the exception of some of the inside caulking, stuff like that. Since the old windows had blinds built in them, so the blinds weren't functioning great. The new windows they're just windows, so our next project after they're installed, we'll have those blinds measured up. We might have to provide some sunglasses because they let in a lot more light. It's actually pretty different being in there in some of those areas where you're used to having some of the blinds that never really opened, didn't shut all the way. I think that's obviously a lot more efficient windows, 30-year-old windows. It was time for an upgrade. So yeah, as far as that grounds, the grass will stop growing eventually. It has not showed any signs of letting up. But again, I got a good crew that's kept up on that as much as possible. Juggling vacations and stuff like that. Every once in a while, if I gotta hop on a mower and do some of the flat spots, I don't do the hills like they do, but I'll do some of the flat spots to help keep up as much as we can. But yeah, kind of to Pat's point, just getting back to normal, but our normal is a little bit newer with some of these areas and stuff like that. But we're excited. I've said it 100 times. I'm excited to not see hard hats and vests and walls running across, dust flying everywhere. But we're in a good position, even after losing a custodian in July to a retirement, and then losing another one here a few weeks ago to a resignation. We're back to full staff and ready to hit the ground running for the new year.
All right, any questions for Cody?
Cody, there was some discussion after the referendum in the tech ed department in particular about if you were going to require another person or some different technology because it's so much larger of a space. I don't know if you're able to share at this point in time or not what you all decided to do as far as being able to clean and keep everything nice with that larger space.
Sure. One nice thing about that, and obviously some of this leads to summer, is we don't have to wax the floors down there. It's LVT. One thing, and working with Carl and Tyler down there, one thing that we just have coordinated and expected with them a little bit more is for them to take care of the shops, which they've done a pretty good job of in the past. But a lot of things, they're willing, they've basically told us they're willing to do whatever they need to help out. They could dump, the dumpsters are right there, they can run trash for us, they can do these kind of things. So I think with the minimal area that we gained, other than the shop area, we've handled it pretty good. And I think just kind of all in all, we do have one open part-time custodial / food service position. Getting that filled in is gonna free up some of my daytime guys, specifically Norm, who's kind of a jack of all trades. He just does everything. And sometimes we ask him to do some stuff that he's not used to doing. We'll throw him in a position and he just jumps right in and does it. So we can help people catch up in areas like that. Biggest thing right now is substitute custodians are very scarce. So if you know anybody, send them my way. But again, we as a group, we make it work very well. Yeah, we got a good team.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thanks, Cody. And Christy, we have a school nutrition update.
Summer school went good. We had probably 275 kids eating during the month of June. And I know it's kind of switched now where a lot of kids are eating breakfast nowadays. So some days our breakfast count is even more than our lunch count. And that was true for the last year or two, which we thought breakfast would go way down because the year before that we had the universal free and that stopped. But I'm glad they're eating, and our overall count was down some. I think our attendance is just lower. We've got the greenhouse going. There's gonna be lettuce ready in 2 weeks, so perfect timing. Over this past year, we got equipment to start tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff from there, starting to get growing too, and it's exciting. It's very good. People can tell the difference between our lettuce and, other lettuce, and we've been doing stuff in the gardens this year. We've gotten a lot of stuff that we've used for summer school or summer food. July was mainly summer food, and lots of you can't predict how many are gonna be there. But it turned out that we would have about 100 a day, and that's including, 1 week we have volleyball camp, and the nurse band camp, and then there's Sadie Hollow camps that we do meals for, and so it usually ends up that we have a pretty good crowd, so. Looking forward to getting a part-time custodian. That was filled by one of my staff last year, and that was taking her time out of the greenhouse, so that will be nice to have her freed up again like she should be. But as far as I know, everyone's coming back, and we got a good group, and happy with the group we have coming in. It's the same as last year, but everyone got along well, and it was very efficient, and just helped everyone else out. We did good. There's a lot of days. Well, besides being short the custodian, there was a lot of days that we were short one other worker, so it all works out in the end. Just do some extra and get it done. But yeah, so just waiting for school to start, doing a few meals before that and into our
ELC meals.
ELC, yes. Now we're doing ELC every day. It's been around 50 now. When school starts, it'll probably go back down to 35 or so, because about 15 of them, I think, are school-age kids. But they seem to be happy with their meals, and, you know, we try to incorporate a lot of different fresh fruits and things for them to try, and veggies, and the one day we sent over green peppers, and I'm like, oh, I don't know about this, but there's kids who really like them, as long as they have ranch.
As long as you get something to dip them in, they're happy.
Yep. So yeah, getting them, you know, a little familiar with some other fresh produce. That's about it.
Any questions? Yeah, thank you everyone for your reports and for your hard work.
I'm sorry, Vicki, I have one question for Christy. What kind of marketing are we doing so that our community is aware of all of this amazing food that we have at our school? I just don't think people know the great work that you're doing and what we provide. Is there anything on Facebook or social media, or, I mean, I just don't know what is being done.
We don't really have a lot done, and, you know, social media is more, you know, if there's a nutrition day or, you know, specialty day for us, but, once in a while you'll see something, I see things on Facebook, but not very often.
Okay.
It's not really publicized very well.
Okay. Well, people take pictures of the food that they eat all the time and put it on social media. I'm just wondering if there's a way that perhaps, you know, whoever takes care of our social media platform, if somebody could take some pictures and just show some of the amazing things that you're growing and serving,
Yeah,
if possible,
sure.
because it's impressive.
It's always nice when we get new students that come from another school and they're like, wow, we've never had food like this.
Right.
Glad to hear it.
Well, even the greenhouse, you know, pictures of the greenhouse and what's growing. And like I said, it's really amazing. I don't know if there are any students or staff or anybody that can forward anything to whomever takes care of our social media, but it's something to be proud of and to celebrate, I think. So thank you.
Anything else?
Oh,
Come spend some time. Angie, I'll go spend some time in the greenhouse and with the kitchen staff as we get rolling, and maybe do a Facebook Live or a video of some sort. I'll have Mr. Christensen help me get a half cut or whatever we need to edit that, and then we'll put something together and put that out. That's a great idea.
It's just something that we should all be so proud of. It's so unique.
Agreed.
And I just don't think our families are aware of it, and they should be. So, thank you.
Right, we'll move to item D, board report, VAM's update. Kim and Pat.
Yep, the VAM's meeting tonight, they talked about a variety of things. They have a new member, Sarah Saunders, if I'm saying that right, on the VAM's board. They ordered some new t-shirts, so you'll see those around that they're gonna be distributing. They talked about the website some, and it's a little slow getting going, and otherwise just back to school things and back to school night, and everything, enrollment is off to there's just a few spots open, and otherwise everything's going pretty good. Anything to add to that, Pat?
No, it's good, good meeting.
Thank you. Workshop planning.
So I think you all received the update from WASB, but October 9th in Onalaska is when they're having, our district workshop. We have chosen not to attend, I believe, the last 2 years because the information that was shared at the workshop is information that we already had. They didn't have anything current. I don't know if they're changing their platform. I know it isn't at a hotel in our area. This year it's going to be in Onalaska. If you're interested in attending, please let Beth know. I personally am not. I've been somewhat disappointed in their presentations because they just don't have any current information. And I'm unaware of anything that's changed from what I'm getting from the regional newsletters and things like that. But if you are interested, please let Beth know. And then as far as any legislative updates, that's our budget. We still are working on that. Obviously, the state has approved it, but there are some nuances that we're not sure how that's going to affect our district moving forward. But we're hopeful that it will be positive, and we've heard a few positive things so far. And I'd like to thank Vicki for running the meeting, and I apologize for not being in attendance.
There's one more thing.
Oh, the WASB search evaluation, Angie.
Oh, so you all had the meeting that I was unable to attend. I don't know, Vicki, if you want to speak to that when they came and you had that meeting. And the WASB search, as far as, is this the piece about our review of Jeremy?
No,
No.
this is the evaluation that, regarding the search.
Yeah. The search.
Did we talk to you about
Right. So
as a group or individual?
I believe it should be an individual myself, but I wanted to ask you all if you wanted to do it individually. I think there's a lot of things that perhaps not everybody knows, though, that happened or took place. We were not the most impressed with that process. To be fair, Beth and Tom really ran it, not WASB. They didn't give us anything that we did not already have, in my opinion. Very kind, very nice, but we had to ask them to do things that they had never done. For example, notify an applicant that was not going to get the position. And they kind of pushed back on that, and I said it's only the right thing to do to notify someone that's interviewed that they are not going to get the position, and we would like for you to do that. So
basically, would you like me to send you the link so that you can each individually respond?
I would.
Okay, sure, perfect. I'll take care of that, Angie.
thank you.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
Thanks, Ange.
Thank you, everybody.